one tabled item, and we have 7 scheduled matters for today. Here's a proof of all the legal publication for all the items. The board does have the right goal is to be out of here by 10 o'clock with the number of items we have. If we don't, we may have to table the last couple of items. I'm hoping we don't get there, just heads up. For any, during the public speaking sessions, we will be limiting public comments to no more than 5 minutes. So keep that in mind. With that, go for a call of attendance.
Mrs. Volo,
Here.
Mr. Hauser,
Here.
Mr. Short,
Here.
Mr. Santola,
Here.
Mr. Wagner,
Here.
Mr. DeMarco,
Here.
Mr. Artuso.
Here.
All right. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to make a slight change to the agenda that we have. I'd like to move Splash Car Wash, 1-year extension of approvals up to the first item, and then we'll move back to the tabled items. So if we can do that, if I can have the representative. Yep.
Yes, my name is Ann Riley. I represent the applicant, the owner of the property. I actually wasn't supposed to be here. My client was supposed to be here, so last minute I got sent over here. So we're just looking for another extension while we are still involved in litigation. So
Okay.
we don't want to lose our variance.
Very good. I've had a chance to go through all the paperwork. I don't know if anybody here has any questions or comments on the 1-year extension.
And just briefly, if you could, what's the expectation on the ending of the litigation?
We're getting very close, just not close enough.
Okay.
Any other questions?
What does that mean? Is that gonna mean, will it drag on again?
We're hoping that once we complete this, the depositions have been completed and there's a motion, the litigation attorney is handling a motion. And once it does, either this will go forward as a car wash, that's what we're hoping for.
So we shouldn't hear you back here next year for a variant, for an extension, correct?
I would say not.
Hopefully, knock on wood. Okay. Any other questions?
Do we need another car wash?
Fortunately, that's not for us to
Yeah,
determine.
I know.
That's already been determined.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunate, yeah. All right, open up to the public. Anybody want to speak for or against this project? Nope. All right, do I have to go through seeker again?
No.
No? All right, yes, make a motion to grant a 1-year extension on the previously approved, and the date of the previous approval was, where was it? It was the 20th of August of 22?
23rd.
23rd of
of
August?
20 The original was August 23, 2022, and then they got an extension.
Oh, it's right in front of me. Thank you. To be extended to August 23, 2025.
Second.
Mr. Short,
Aye.
Mrs. Volo,
Aye.
Mr. Santola,
Aye.
Mr. Hauser,
Aye.
Mr. Wagner.
Aye.
You have your extension for 1 year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
It's with the same conditions
Yep.
as the
Yeah.
original, correct?
Yep, all same conditions stand.
Okay,
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
And just one question, are you going to be applying for an extension of the site plan approvals with the? Okay, perfect, thank you.
With that, we're going to move back to our tabled matter, 671 Willow Lane accessory structure.
Do you want me to read it into the
Yes,
minutes
please.
again? Okay. 671 Willow Lane accessory structure located at 671 Willow Lane Applicant Brian Bishoping is requesting area variances to allow a side setback less than what is required and to allow the placement of an accessory structure to be nearer to the front line of the rear of the line of the main residence associated with the construction of a 500 square foot detached wood frame structure on a .46 acre parcel having SBL number 065.13-2-11, located in an R3 single-family residential district under sections 350-12 and 350-36 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Hey, O'Brien.
Hello, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
You want to go through the project again?
So the second floor was laminated, and I am just gonna have shelving inside now. And the measurements have been updated so that it is within the 20 by 25 footprint and not exceeding 20 feet tall.
Okay. I saw that you also submitted information on the materials.
Yes.
So it looks like a industrial metal building, if you will, or a pole barn type material?
It's metal siding, yes.
Okay. Very good.
Metal siding, and the roof is gonna be metal
And
as
roof
well.
as well, correct?
Yep.
Okay. All right. And I saw that you also submitted a breakdown of the costs as well.
Yes.
So thank you. I know the last time we spoke, there was concerns of, a building that's being put up in a residential area that is 20 feet tall, 20 by 25, that ultimately would have a more industrial type look and would look out of place in the neighborhood itself. And I still have that concern significantly. And I appreciate that you submitted on the materials, because I know the last time we spoke, we had mentioned making it look similar to the house, to a residential, and at that point, you didn't have the materials decided on at that point in time. So I appreciate all the information here. Does the board have any other questions?
Yeah, with the removal of the second floor,
Yep.
what is the need for the height?
I need storage space, so I'm gonna have shelving that's 20 feet tall and be able to store on that shelving. So I still need the storage, it's just, I'm not looking to have, the decision that was made at the last meeting, by saying the structure was now 1,000 square feet because of the second level, that required me to get a third variance, because my house is not 4,000 square feet. So the way to have a 500 square foot structure without needing that other variance is to eliminate the second level and just have the storage vertically.
Are you going to have a business at this location?
No,
I don't know any resident that has a need for shelving 20 feet tall.
there's actually currently at Schlegel and Phillips, a larger, in the same R3 zone as my property. It is definitely a lot larger, because I believe the door is at least 12 feet tall and 10 feet wide. And that's the same residential zone that I'm in.
It still concerns me. I said that It still concerns me.
Me too.
Any other questions? No?
No, if you could soften this up so it doesn't look that commercial. I know one of the previous meetings, we asked the question why couldn't he incorporate that to his existing house? And if memory serves me correctly, it was because it was more expensive than having a standalone. But we are talking a residential area.
Right.
So the intent is to have both structures look similar.
So you're gonna side your house in metal siding?
I mean, eventually it's currently metal siding right now.
It's aluminum siding that is, mimics, plank siding. So I mean, it's, you know, and what you submitted is a standing seam,
Commercial.
thank you, Chris. Commercial grade siding that's roughly 18 or 24 inches on center. So it's not the same product. It is a commercial grade product.
I mean, the goal is the longevity of the structure, not, you know, so when I make that transition with the house, the primary structure, that's the goal, is the two are gonna be similar.
Now, were you planning on matching the color of this to the future color of
Yes.
your residence, which is going to be what?
I haven't decided color.
Okay.
So
There,
I guess this is what I'm gonna say. At the end of the day, we have 8 bullets that we have to abide by, and this board has the option to say, you know, to review it to the best of our ability and make a decision. You know, the last 2, this is not an undesirable change. This is in a residential neighborhood. Phillips and Schlegel, yes, I understand, might still be the same zone. However, those are more heavily larger roads than a residential neighborhood. So I would say that this becomes an undesirable change, and this request is not significant. On one hand, having a storage unit, 20 by 25, I don't see as being significant until we put that height of 20 feet on top of it. Now it becomes something much more significant.
I agree.
These are my opinions. So I guess from here, I mean, Brian, are you open to modifications to this structure, to have a storage unit on your property to be able to store your equipment, store your materials on the property?
so we currently have 3 other accessory structures this size in the neighborhood, in my current neighborhood.
I drove your neighborhood and I did not see any structure 20 feet high, 20 by
I didn't
25.
say 20 feet high, but definitely 18 feet high, 18, 19 feet high. There's one that's 21 by 25, there is one that is 20 by 25, and they happen to be in the backyard.
The ones that were identified the first time you were here
And-
were not those.
And then at the corner of Mill Creek and Willow, or Mill Creek and Holly, there is one that looks like an attached garage, but it is not an attached garage. And that is easily 18 feet tall.
What do you got going on, Josh?
I asked him to see if he can pull up Google Earth,
Thank you.
just this way we can, we may not be able to see it
Visualize
from the street view, but at least we can see proximity and maybe from shadows cast,
Sure.
see a height.
The one on Phillips? Or the one on Schlegel?
Well, at least
Or-
we're in the general neighborhood that he's talking about, yeah, I'm just trying to see if we can find it.
So Mill
Yeah, I
Creek
don't
and
know what
Holly,
that one is.
it would be the southeast corner of Mill Creek and Holly, right there.
This?
Yes.
Is that attached or detached?
It is detached.
Do you have the ability to street view?
That's a good question. I was confused on that.
Yeah, the peak might be at 20 feet, but certainly the eaves are at around 10.
And it certainly has a residential look to it.
Right, the siding and the shutters and the window are all the same scale as the house.
So that's one of the things that I'm trying to get to, Brian, without being blunt about it, but the structure that has been submitted is in my opinion, a commercial-looking structure. It is a low-pitch roof, and it does not fit within the neighborhood. The image that was just brought up, it was made to fit within the neighborhood.
Okay.
Are you open to,
Can we look at the ones that are on Conifer Cove?
sure,
Okay. I would have to look and see what the addresses are. So it's actually Josh, right close to where your cursor is. I believe the one with the pool. Right in those backyards right there. And you can see the corner of one.
but here's the other issue. Yours is not going to be in the backyard, hidden by your house and hidden by trees,
Hidden by the hedgerow,
on one side, right?
half of the structure, yes. I mean, I have a current picture of what it looks like today. And there's only 4 feet from the hedgerow currently to the stakes that are the corners of the structure. So when that gets cleaned up and then planted, it definitely can blend in with the hedgerow.
Now, are you planning on plantings around the building to soften
Yeah,
the look of it?
yep,
Because it is entirely in your side yard. So the hedgerow will hide it from the neighbor to the
Yep.
north, but it's gonna be right
I
there.
mean, I have a picture from today at 3:45. If you wanna pass it around, or I have multiple copies, if you like to look at it today, and you can see the stakes that are the corners closest to the existing structure.
I don't need to see it. I've been to the property a couple of times, so I know what it looks like. I don't know if anybody else wants to see it.
No.
No.
Okay. What I'm hearing, I guess, Brian, is you're set on this size, style, height, material to be installed. What I'm hearing, I'm not, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're not open to alterations to the look of this and to the size, height of this,
The-
correct?
The height, the footprint, everything falls into an accessory structure.
It
It's
does.
approved in the town of Webster. So that's that's what I'm going for, is that size. The look of it is gonna be complementing of the primary structure.
Okay. For you to build it in the location you need, you have to have a variance. This board has the ability to grant or deny that variance.
Okay.
Speaking for myself, I would want to see this softened and height reduced and materials modified so that it fits within the neighborhood. Again, not speaking for the rest of the board members, but that's what I would want. You are correct, the height fits within the code. We're not here talking about the height from a variance standpoint, we're talking about the location. But this board has that ability to grant that variance based on a number of factors. The look of it being one of it. Again, being an undesirable change and being a significance of a request, those are two things that we have to ask ourselves, and we have to ask ourselves, is this an undesirable change for that neighborhood, is what we have to ask ourselves. And I guess we can vote now, as it stands, or is there any room on your end to answer those questions differently for other board members?
I mean, again, I don't know, I looked at some options, and I did not know that a metal siding or roofing would be an issue.
Okay,
So I'm sure there are other options for metal siding, but I don't know what they all are.
height-wise though, you are set on the height and
Yes.
there is no, okay, very good. With that, did I already open up to public comment? No?
No?
Open up for anybody that wants to speak for or against this project? No? Bring it back to the board. Any other comments or questions from the board?
I just want to tell the applicant, should this application be denied, you cannot reapply in front of this board for a period of 1 year without having a substantial change in your application if you decide to make a submittal within that 1 year period. But the board would have to approve that, that's significant enough of a change in order for us to be able to act on it. So I just caution you.
It's just the siding and roofing?
It's the style.
I think it's the
Doesn't
whole,
look
it's the whole thing
residential.
compared with the, I'm sorry, Don, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's, you know, it's a style. It doesn't look residential. Would I want this next to my house? Absolutely not. I wouldn't want it by my neighbor's house.
So to Don's point, right, it's the height. I mean,
Okay.
it's not insignificant, right? I mean, we are talking, the height of this is probably close to 18 feet at the eaves, based on what I'm seeing here. So it's the height, it's the materials, it's a lot of it.
And the
For-
location.
Right. They all play into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
Right.
And while, you know, at least I recognize it, I'm sure the rest of the board does as well, that, no, you're right, there's nothing against having a metal shed. There's nothing against having a 25-foot height shed, or asking for a yard variance, nothing. But the way that it's presented right now, at least for me, makes it difficult to help you. Because I agree with Don and Mr. Shorten that I don't think it fits in. And while it's not a requirement to fit in, that's why you have a board as opposed to just writing a check and getting a variance. And like I said, I don't think it's any one issue, that if you just made it shorter, it would look it would fit any better. I think it's a combination of stuff, but certainly, I think the height and or the material has a lot to do with it, as far as the way I would want to vote on it, so.
Well, and I think when you were before the board previously, the concern the board had was just that it needs to look residential. It needs to kind of fit the neighborhood. And I think you could still get what you need function-wise, but just make it softer. Right now, it's just gonna look like a metal pole barn standing,
I mean,
not hidden behind your house.
Okay.
So I guess, Don, with your comment, we have two options. You can pull the application right now and take a look to see if there's something that would appease this board, or we can vote, but based on what you're hearing, I don't think it's going to go well. I'm not gonna promise that, but it may.
So if I were to get a metal siding to look similar to the house, the primary structure,
In style, I understand you're gonna change that siding because it's aged and faded, but
Brian, there's a lot of things, right?
okay,
We got, the material is one thing.
okay,
The height is another thing,
Okay.
and the location is one. The one thing that you probably cannot do a whole lot about is the location. The other two, you can do a lot about, and you can make that work within those two.
okay, so the height is gonna stay, the location we've already established, and to me, it's the third thing is the exterior finishes.
yes.
So-
Aesthetics play a big part, and that's an entirely residential neighborhood. It's not
Okay.
like you're in a mixed neighborhood where there's a farm across the street and,
If you are
So I
keeping
will
the
s-
height, and I'm not, if you are keeping the height and you're only changing the materials, talking for myself, I would still be against it.
Okay,
There would have to be significant changes to make this look like it fits within the residential neighborhood that you live in.
I can reapproach the architect and see what he can do.
Okay. So you're pulling the application at this point in time, and
Table it for next month?
Very good.
sounds good.
thank
Okay.
you.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion to table the application to September.
Second.
You mean all in favor, or you calling it out? Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next application, Woods View Drive, four-season room.
Woodsview Drive four-season room located at 210 Woodsview Drive. Applicant Keystone Customer Decks is requesting an area variance to allow a rear setback less than what is required associated with the conversion of an existing screened porch into a four-season room and an addition of a new screened porch on a .47 acre parcel having SBL number 050.02-1-98 located in an R2 single-family residential district under section 350-11 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Tell us a little bit about your project.
Yeah, I'm Nate Esch, and I'm from Keystone Custom Decks, and this is Alan Brick, and he is the owner of the house that we are requesting a variance for. We are looking to create the current screened-in porch to a four-season room, like in addition to the house, pretty much. And then off the end of that, we would recreate another screened-in porch, pretty much similar to the existing structure. So it would just be, the existing structure is, I believe, 14 feet, and we would be doing the same amount, just mirroring that same copy right in front of it. That takes us just across the 60-foot rear property setback. So we would be looking for 3 feet of relief.
Okay. I was out at the site yesterday. Backyard's pretty woodsy, nice area. can you tell me why to the back of the screen porch versus, looking at the plan, it would be to the,
South.
to the right or to the south? Why that location? I guess my question.
So you're saying why take the porch off the northwest side versus like the south or east side, or
Correct.
south side? Yeah.
That seemed to be the easiest approach, and it keeps our view of the wooded area. And to the one side, we have lots of planter boxes. What do
Okay.
they call them? Raised beds.
You'd be basically building the screen area over what's existing patio, if
Yes.
I'm not mistaken?
Yes.
And another point is, I mean, the setback obviously would be correct going to the south, but it is going further away from the neighbors with going to the rear of the property. The other thing is, as far as building it, we just continue the A-frame, you know, directly out versus having to reverse an A-frame off the existing A-frame. And so it creates that whole flow of the building a little bit easier.
Other questions from the board?
I think you had some correspondence from your next door neighbor.
Yeah, we have a letter here, and they have no issues with it. I believe
Do we have a copy of that?
they are also ones that had a current, or had a similar variance approved on their property as well. So they are on board for it. We have a letter here if you want to see that.
Yes, please.
Okay.
John, did we get a copy of that digitally already?
I believe
Yeah,
I
if you can bring
received
that
it after I sent it in.
If we could keep it
Can
for
we
the
keep-
record, that'd be
Can we keep
great.
that, or is it your original?
Thank you.
It was just an email sent to me from Alan's wife, Chris, and also I have the conversation between them two as well, if you want to see that email as well.
So I'll just read this into the record. We are next door neighbors of Chris and Alan Brick. We have no issues with their plan to convert their current porch to a four-season room and to add a porch to the back of their house. David and Margaret Hagan, 208 Woodsview Drive, Webster, New York, 14580. All right. No other questions from the board. Is there anybody that wants to speak for or against this project? No? Back to the board. Any other questions, comments that the board may have?
Upon my site visit, it's the most logical location with respect to impact on the nearest neighbor, since he'll be pushing out in a direction where the neighbor really is not going to be able to see it because it's up against the retention pond side of the property. And then the property to the rear is a working farm currently, so again, I don't think the farmer will see it from Phillips.
Okay. There's no other discussions from the board. We vote on seeker.
Make a
Make a
motion
motion.
for
Oh, go on.
type 2 action.
Yep. Okay. Make a motion for a type 2 action under seeker pursuant to NYCRR section 617.5 of the environmental code.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Brenda, you want to do the findings?
Sure. The request is not out of character with the neighborhood. As was noted, the neighbor at 208 had a similar condition previously, I believe it was in 2019, with a similar setback to add a room off to the back of the house. The benefit will not be a detriment to nearby properties. Again, the neighbor to the north is actually the retention pond, and the neighbor to the south sent a letter that he's not opposed to it. The benefit is really not achieved by any other method. They're enclosing the room that's currently there and extending it using the same roof lines, which makes the construction much more feasible. No adverse physical or environmental impacts to the site or the neighborhood. The difficulty is self-created, but most variances are, and it really doesn't impact any of the neighbors in that area. And it will be a desirable change. The property is attractive now, and I don't think it will be any less attractive with this addition to it.
Yep, the variance is only to a point on the building, really.
Right, it's not,
Doesn't include the whole side.
correct, it's
Right.
just the one corner.
That's right.
Yep. All right, make a motion, for, an area variance to allow a rear setback less than what is required associated with the conversion of an existing screen porch into a four-season room, and addition of a new screen porch on a 0.47 acre parcel having SBL number 050.02-1-98, located in an R2 single-family residential district under section 350-11 of the code of the town of Webster.
The rear
47
set-
feet off, I was getting it.
I just didn't want to forget it.
47 feet off the, I guess that would be the, is that the west
The west,
property line, versus, is it 50, which is required?
Second,
Mr. Short,
Aye.
Mrs. Walla,
aye.
Mr. Santola,
aye.
Mr. Haza,
Aye.
Mr. Wagner.
Aye.
All right, you have your variance for your addition to the rear of the house. You have 1 year meaningful time for construction. You do still have to get a building permit to be able to complete the project.
I applied for a permit, so I'm guessing that just gets viewed now. I don't have to reapply, correct?
Josh?
Correct, yes.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Joran Drive, front porch.
Located at 858 Jorian Drive, applicant Tom Mikens is requesting area variances to allow a front setback less than what is required associated with the construction of a 160 square foot front porch on a .31 acre parcel having SBL number 078.10-1-56, located in an R3 single-family residential district under section 350-12 of the code of the town of Webster.
How's it going?
Good, thanks.
Name and tell us a little bit about your project.
Yeah, so it's Tom Mikens. I'm on the corner of Volk and Joran Drive. We have a ranch house on the corner, and we
Speak
currently
up a
have...
little bit.
Oh, sorry. How's that? Better?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So we live on the corner of Volk and Joran Drive. We have a front porch today, which is 8 by 10, and it's 18 inches height off of the ground. Want to expand that to make it 8 by 20, so bring it across the front of the house slightly. But unbeknownst, there is a variance, and the current one is actually over that time. So I didn't have that information at the time. We're too close to Joran Drive, I believe, is where the variance is from the front of the house to Joran Drive. It's only 30 feet, and I think the, I don't know exactly, but I believe the code is like 34, 35 feet on that. So that's what I'm looking for the variance for. I do have a neighbor next door to us, has a very similar deck with the same extensions onto that also.
So you're not coming any further closer to Joran than your current porch is, correct? You're just making it
Just
go across
making
the
it a
front.
little bit wider than what it is? Yeah.
Making it usable.
We're going toward,
Making it usable.
Making it usable.
Yep, absolutely.
yeah.
Okay. Questions from the board?
No.
There is a variance already, Josh, for that current porch?
No,
No.
we weren't able to find one on record.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah,
Well, it's an old neighborhood. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole area.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely, okay. This is pretty straightforward to me.
Okay.
I don't have any questions. Anybody else, nobody from the board or anybody from the board?
No.
I'll open up to public. If anybody wants to speak for or against this project, please come on up. No? Back to the board. Assuming nobody has any more questions? Okay, with that, I'm gonna go, seeker, I'm gonna make a motion for a type 2 action under seeker pursuant to NYCRR section 617.5 of the Environmental Code.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I mean, this request is not out of character for the neighborhood. As you mentioned, your neighbor next door has a very similar porch right in front. The porch is not going to be any taller or any closer to the front, to the road than your current porch. It will be a little bit wider. This does not create a detriment to any nearby properties, as this is really attached to the house and close to the house. To make your porch, a benefit, it's really not achievable by any other means. This is not a substantial request, as there already is a porch there, and the neighborhood has porches all throughout that are viewable from roadside. There is no adverse physical or environmental impacts to the site or the neighborhood. Difficulty is self-created to want to have a usable porch, but it's not unreasonable to have a usable porch in one's front yard. It's not an undesirable change, again, as many of the houses in the neighborhood already have front porches, and it's not a significant request from this board. Any other findings that I may have missed? No?
I'm trying to figure out the front setback of the new porch.
Thank you.
It's supposed to be 30 feet where 40 feet is required.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
are we gonna be 30, what's the house currently off the street?
38?
38.4.
The house is 38.4?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
Yep.
All right, let's see, this is for area variance, for 858 Joran Drive, to allow a front setback less than what is required associated with the construction of a 160 square foot front porch on a 0.31 acre parcel having SBL 078.10-15-56 located in R3 Single Family Residential District under section 350-12 of the Code of Webster, to provide the front porch no more than 30 feet in lieu of the 40 feet required by the code. Porch would be no more than 8 feet by 20 feet in the front of the house.
Second.
Mr. Short,
Aye.
Mr. Santola,
Aye.
Mrs. Volo,
Aye.
Mr. Hauser,
Aye.
Mr. Wagner.
Aye.
You have your variance, you have 1 year meaningful time to start construction. You do need a building permit to be able to do the work.
Great. Okay,
Good luck and you have a good evening.
appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Bay Road. Bay Road. Anybody here for 712 Bay Road? No?
Do we want to just skip over?
Skip 'em,
and
come
see
back
if
to
they
'em.
come
Yep.
back?
Bannerwood Drive, Garage Addition.
Located at 823 Bannerwood Drive, applicant Corinne Mansfield is requesting an area variance to allow a front setback less than what is required associated with the construction of a 672 square foot attached garage addition to an existing single-family residence on a 0.63 acre parcel having SBL number 081.01-1-75, located in an R2 single-family residential district under section 350-11 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
How's it going?
Good, you?
Good. Tell us a little bit about your project.
We're
Start with your
requesting-
name and,
Oh, sorry, Brian Andrachek, and this is my wife Corinne Mansfield, the homeowners. And we're requesting the variance to add on an attached two-car garage to the existing house.
So the only thing we got is the plan here. You have, what is the attached garage going to look like?
It'll mirror the house, same siding, same look. It'll look like it's going to be connected to the house, and it'll be an extension of it.
Height-wise? Do you have plans already?
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you can share with the board?
Yeah, I did some plans, blueprints with the,
I don't recall seeing those.
do you want to look at
Josh, do you have?
I do not. It might have been submitted with your building permit application, but that didn't transfer over to this one. If you have them electronically, you could email them and I can pull them up on the screen. Sure.
That would be awesome if you could do that.
So is there actually gonna be a structure connected to the garage to the existing garage, or is that just a covered walkway, or?
It'll be like so the house here, the garage is going to be here, and there'll be like a little.
Right, I'm saying, is that gonna be actually
Enclosed.
enclosed, or is that just gonna be,
It'll be enclosed.
Okay.
Yep, all enclosed, yep.
thank you.
Sure.
Why this particular location?
Because it's near the driveway right now, right next to it.
We had a couple setbacks, had we done it, had we done it just continuing on straight,
Mhm.
we have an addition behind it, so it would bump into the addition, so basically our window would be looking at the back of the garage.
Mhm.
So really, our only option was to do it that way, and at an angle. All right, actually, let me see it. We also thought about doing it straight down the driveway, but because I have a truck, a 90-degree turn would have been a little bit too much, so we have to do it at an angle.
Gotcha. Can you zoom in a little bit on that, Josh?
It's not really giving me the
It's
option.
okay.
Maybe, let's see. Okay. New computer.
I see that.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like that's gonna work.
Yes, might ask, are there any elevations?
There we go. I don't believe any elevations were provided. Do you have elevation drawings of what the building would look like?
No, this is basically what our contractor gave us. We're the architect.
Will the roof line be similar to
Yep.
the other garage?
Yep.
So,
They basically blend into each other, one falling under the other.
okay.
Obviously, the stairs are going up to the
Yeah, it's going to be
storage area.
storage over there.
We wanted it similar to our old house, so if you want to Google 20 Jeffrey Circle, that's pretty much what we wanted to do with this one.
Okay.
Do you know what the height is gonna be of the garage?
Are you picking that up?
It won't exceed the height of the current, the
Can you
current
speak
structure.
into the mic?
Oh, I'm sorry. The height won't exceed the height of the current house, the current structure.
Our
Yeah.
contractor made sure not to do that because he told us it would look like an apartment complex if we had the height of the garage going, too much higher than the existing home, so.
Thank you.
It's not an accessory building because it's connected to the house.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, if it was enclosed, it's kind of it's an addition.
Yeah.
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 What was the address that you gave?
20 Gentry Circle.
So on that side, Bannerwood Drive side, you have, essentially, there's 3 roof lines.
Right.
It's not gonna be any higher than the house. Which roof line are we talking about?
It will be even, a little below so not the first roof line, the second roof line. It'll be-
The middle roof line, if you will, right? Okay.
This
Because, yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
that makes sense. Okay. And you said a little bit below that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Material-wise, you said, it looks like your vinyl siding on this side. You
It'll all
plan-
match.
What's that?
It'll all match.
It'll all match?
Yep.
Okay.
We're actually gonna be using the door that we previously had, so it's the same exact door and.
Okay. You converted the existing garage into living space?
Yeah, during COVID, we needed a little more room.
Yep, understood.
And the garage is gonna have a full loft over, the garage area, or is it just gonna be a small little area that the stairs are leading to?
It'll be the full.
Mhm.
Any other question or any other questions from the board?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Anybody for or against this project that wants to speak? Okay. I'm having Josh, we'll bring it back to the board. I'm having Josh email me the images that you sent. I want to see if I can actually open those up for my viewers. So bear with me. So Josh received a screenshot of what was on your phone, which is fine. I guess my question, is it only it looks like there might have been another page based on the screenshot? Yeah, if you scroll up, there's a title block right there, so it looks like there might be more to it.
Or it could just be the way it created the PDF.
It could be.
Hey, Josh, can you scroll down to see if the title block
Yeah, that's
is
what
on
we're
the
looking
bottom of that?
Yes.
Email that to Josh?
Yeah, that would be great. Let's see if they have any dimensions on there. Let's see.
Okay, yeah, that is A2 that they're missing.
Mhm.
Of course, they don't give you any dimensions whatsoever. Very nice of them. However, they are keeping the soffit line and the eave the same as your current house. And it actually looks like it might be taller than that middle portion, but lower than the upper portion of your house, based on what I'm seeing in this elevation. If you wouldn't mind sending that to Josh, I appreciate that. So the elevation, based on what was just shown to me, is actually below the top eave, but above that middle eave of their,
Were there dimensions on the,
there's no dimensions for the heights.
so we want to
There-
limit it to 25 feet then?
There is, as I'm rotating my phone and it's rotating, there is a dimension on the truss. It looks like it says it's a 9-foot clear, I can't really tell. Inside the truss, it might be 8 foot. and then the peak itself. So, we'll just limit it to 25.
Right, I'm saying we limit it, without knowing that, if we limit
Yep.
to 25, it allows us to vote and
Yep.
keep
Okay.
them from needing another variance.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
No? All right. I'm going to make a motion for a type 2 action under seeker pursuant to NYCRR Section 617.5 of the Environmental Code.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
I'm going to run through the findings.
Please.
Okay, the request will not be out of character with the neighborhood. All of the houses in that neighborhood do have garages. Most of them have 2 and/or 3-car garages. Several of the homes actually have a 3rd bay garage added, whereas this is only, the house is only going to have a 2-car garage because the previous garage was converted to living space. There will be no detriment created to nearby properties. This is a corner lot, but it looks like, I don't know if it's quite a full double lot, but it's wider in the direction to the nearest neighbor of the garage than most of the lots are. I'm gonna guess this is a cluster subdivision, because as you go further down Bannerwood, the houses are all right on top of one another. But there is significant space between this home and the nearest neighbor that I just lost on my GIS. The neighbor to 211, or lot 211. The house, the neighbor's house on the garage side also does not have any windows on that side of the house. So as far as impacting and being in the view of the neighbor, they're not going to see it on the windowless side. The distance from this addition to the lot line is still going to be 46 feet. And then at least another 10 feet to the house next door, so it's going to be significantly spaced. The request is not substantial. It's certainly not an oversized garage. It's a 2-car garage that's a little bit deeper to allow room for an upstairs access to a storage loft. No physical or environmental impacts to the site or to the neighborhood. The difficulty is self-created, but the applicant does have room on the lot in order to do so. And I'll say it's not significant. The setback in this instance is it 40 feet, Josh? Because it's a corner lot and one side is 40 and one would be,
This particular lot is a cluster development and has a 35-foot front setback.
okay, so I'm only going 3 feet beyond.
Correct.
Yeah, if you look at the instrument survey, it's really not the scale. It's really the way it's shown on the instrument survey that was provided by the applicant. That location is much closer to the road than it actually will be.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because the
And
corner.
I just want to make sure the applicant's aware of that, because it's not as much of an angle as they're depicting on the survey, or it won't be,
They're good.
okay?
It was our contractor that just drew it up there.
Speak up into the mic.
Oh, sorry, our contractor drew that kind of like as
Well,
a.
I don't want you back in half a year and saying, well, our contract.
Well, Don approved it.
I know, that's why I'm pointing it out.
Don said it was good.
Get through all the findings, Corinne?
I think so, yeah. Do you want me to make a motion?
Sure.
All right, I'll make a motion to grant an area variance to allow a front setback of 32 feet where 35 feet is required for the addition of a 672 square foot attached garage to an existing single-family residence at 823 Bannerwood Drive in the town of Webster.
Yeah.
Second.
And the height of
Oh,
that garage shall not exceed 25 feet.
Okay. No closer to Bannerwood, 32
Or
feet.
32 feet to Bannerwood.
Yep. Second?
Second.
You got it, you're good.
Mrs. Volo,
Aye.
Mr. Short,
Aye.
Mr. Santola,
Aye.
Mr. Hauser,
Aye.
Mr. Wagner.
Aye.
You have your variance for your garage. You have 1 year to complete the project. You have to obtain a building permit prior to starting any work. Good luck and congrats.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Next up, Anna Circle in-ground pool.
Located at 361 Anna Circle, applicant Brandon Sosa is requesting area variances to allow a side setback less than what is required associated with the construction of a 16-foot by 40-foot in-ground swimming pool on a .34 acre parcel having SBL number 050.04-9-16, located in an R3 single-family residential district under sections 350-12 and 350-46 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
How's it going?
Good, how are you guys doing?
Good. Tell us a little bit about your project, name, et cetera. Make sure you speak into the mic.
Name's Brandon Sosa at 361 Anna Circle. I'm looking to install a 16 by 40 foot in-ground pool in our backyard. And seeking an area variance for the side setback.
Okay. Side yard 15 feet, correct? And based on this, to the water line is 14.3 feet. I think when I was there, we were talking that the water line was gonna be 15 feet.
Yep, when we had the pool contractor come out, it measured 15 feet was fine. I started doing it on the plat map, what's off by, I think, 9 inches, so I went with worst case scenario.
Okay. And then the concrete on that end is 10 feet then, is what the concrete is on the end of the,
Yes, that's correct.
okay? Why that size pool? Why that location?
That size pool, we originally wanted a shorter and wider, but we ran into the easement in the back of the yard. So trying to keep the same area, we went a little longer and a little skinnier. That location, we felt that maximized distance from our neighbors and also kept a nice symmetrical look for the backyard. A couple slides down, if you see, if we move it any other direction, we actually get closer to our neighbors than further away.
I think there's one other with a rotation as well, Josh.
And then that one's in the easement.
Yep. Why 40 feet?
Just what we were looking, the functionality out of the pool. There's sun ledge and then shallow end and deep end. To get everything we wanted out of it, that was the length.
Okay. How long is the shallow end?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
I believe it's 10 feet.
Probably be about 15 feet.
They are literally all over the place.
I know, but I'm based on mine, and it's about
Yeah,
15 feet.
Go.
So the deep end is gonna be 7 feet, so it allowed a larger shallow end. That should be close to accurate, where the lines are.
Roughly about a
And that-
third, a little more than a
There's little
third, sorry.
steps and then.
Well, yeah, no, yeah, okay. Other questions from the board?
Could you swap the location? All right, how am I asking this question? I was gonna say, can you flip it so that the shallow end is to the left of the pool as I'm looking at it in this view, and then the wider concrete would be on that side, which would give you I leave the pool in the same place and flop the widths of the decking on each end, if that makes sense?
Yes, so the updated plan, if you go to the other one, Josh, we're actually showing 10 feet on each end. So based off of kind of what we've been looking at, we have 10 feet on one side for like sun ledge and tanning and lounging, and the other side to give room for a solar cover, kids jumping into the pool. So that's what, it wound up being symmetrical in the end.
You can have a diving board?
No.
I just asked for the solar cover, because otherwise it's gotta be in the shallow end.
Gotcha.
Other questions from the board? With that, I'm going to open it up to the public. If anybody wants to speak for or against this project, please come on up. State your name and address, and please speak into the mic.
My name is Bob Curtis. I live at 1474 Bushwood Circle. And when you look at the lot, it has a point to it. We live kitty corner to Brandon at that point, and we have no objection.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I also forgot to mention there was a signed affidavit from my neighbor to the side where the variance is that in support or no objections to the plan.
I think that was included
that's-
as well.
Okay.
Yep. I do have a online submission from Amy, that I'll read in, from Amy DeLuz at 356 Anna Circle, stating, "I do not think this variance should be approved. They are going to disrupt the beauty of the neighborhood. These people think they are above all laws and rules in the neighborhood and continue to be a problem. They have already had a number of homeowner insurance claims due to their negligence. The dog attacked a child, and they had a house fire in a matter of a few weeks. They also have called the police about people being too close to their property multiple times, which is a huge waste of town resources. I think it is I'm not gonna continue on this. Anyway, she's opposed to.
I understand.
This is also part of the file. With that, bring it back to, if there's no other public, bring it back to the board. Anybody, any other comments or questions from the board?
You're gonna have to modify the fence to make sure that it meets any and all pool
Uh,
codes?
Yes, I've already under agreement with the fence installer to add the correct locks. I think there's self-closing drop
Or
bars.
just self-closing?
Yep, all that stuff. Yep.
You're not removing, the fence that will be in place will be in the same location as the current fence, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right.
Josh, and you may not, I didn't know where to look for it. I know this board granted side setback variances at 365, and I think at 367, or maybe it was across the street.
There were several.
I know at least 365, because I do remember that when the contractor placed the pool incorrectly, and it was a fix-it variance.
It's up a couple, two more houses, I think, 2 or 3. It's not, I don't think the pool's in on this view.
Which one?
The kidney-shaped one?
The opposite side, yep, that's.
That one right there.
The question is across the street diagonally.
I know that one had a variance, because it's, I almost think that one was right on the lot line. And then I think 367 as well, but I can't,
Josh,
I
it's
can't
2
swear
up from
to
where
it.
your cursor was, on the other side of the street, right there. There's a pool there now, but it's just not
and
there on the satellite.
also. Yeah, maybe not. And if it's not readily available, that's okay. It's just we have
We've
had
given
similar,
variances.
similar conditions in that neighborhood. The lots are
Tight.
0.3 acres. They're tiny.
Yeah. Any other comments from the board?
And it is a cluster subdivision.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna make a motion for a type 2 action under seeker pursuant to NYCR section 617.5 of the environmental code.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll do it.
Go for it, Chris.
We'll give Corinne an application off. The application, I don't believe, is out of character with the neighborhood, as there are many residences with pools in their backyard. The application will not be a detriment to the neighborhood or the town. Based on, he has looked at other options, So I think he's minimized the amount of variances that he requires, so it's not really achievable by any other methods. I don't think there'll be any adverse effects to the neighborhood. He's asking for the minimal relief necessary with his setbacks. And while the difficulty is self-created, it is a small lot, so to put in something that helps you enjoy your investment, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. And overall, I don't think it's an undesirable use.
Your next door neighbor submitted a letter that did not object to the request.
And we had a neighbor come in from the rear property line to state no objection as well, so.
Well, and it is also, it's located on the easement side of the lot. There is an easement between 361 and 365, so that just gives it the illusion of having extra space between the pool and the neighbor.
With that, I meant to ask earlier, you are not going to be in the easement at all, any way, shape, or form, correct?
No, we're not in the easement at all.
Okay. All right. Let's see, I'm going to make a motion for an area variance to allow a side setback less than what is required associated with the construction of a 16-foot by 40-foot in-ground swimming pool with 10-foot concrete area. I don't know, what, is it east?
Deck.
No, is it the east and the west side?
North and south.
North and south side?
Sorry,
of
I
the-
rotated
Of
on
the
you
pool?
guys.
On a 0.34 acre parcel having SBL 05004-9-16 located in R3 single-family residential district under sections 35012 and 35046 of the town of Code of Webster. The pool and deck will not be located in the drainage easement at all. The pool water line will not be any closer to, is that the north line? More than 14 foot 3 inches, and the concrete will not be any closer to the property line of 4.3 feet. I meant 14.3 feet is what I meant to say earlier. I think I covered everything. Get a second?
Did you say there was gonna be 15, or are you just going 14.3 for?
So the plan is to center it on the patio.
Okay.
And based off of numbers on the survey map, it wound up at 14.3.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Short,
Aye.
Mr. Santola,
Aye.
Mrs. Volo,
Aye.
Mr. Hauser,
Aye.
Mr. Wagner.
Aye.
All right, you have your variance, you have 1 year for meaningful construction, you do need to, for a pool, I believe you do need to obtain your building permit as well. So,
Okay.
all right? Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, Woodard Road, Third Bay Garage Addition.
Oops, sorry. Located at 1706 Woodard Road, applicant Carl Aquilina is requesting an area variance to allow a side setback less than what is required associated with the construction of a 420 square foot garage addition to an existing single-family dwelling on a 2.0 acre parcel having SBL number 050.02-1-28, located in a large lot LL single-family residential district under section 350-13 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
How's it going?
Yeah, good. Good evening. Al LaRue, McMahon LaRue Associates. Carl is the homeowner. He's here with me tonight. We think that the proposed addition, we're looking for a 6.5 foot side setback. And I've calculated, and we've done the survey, and I've calculated a 14-foot by 30-foot proposed addition would yield about a 6.92 or 6.99 side setback. And 6.5 gives us a little bit of a room when, during construction or whatever, so we've added a little stuff in there. We don't think that the character of the neighborhood will be changed at all by this. In fact, the new garage will be set back 8 feet from the front of the existing garage. And there's a pretty prominent tree stand to the south, protecting the neighbor. So other than that, it looks like a good location, and there's no other way to put the third car on this. So with that, I'll turn it over to any questions you might have for me or Carl.
Okay, just want to say one thing.
Speak in the mic.
I'm sorry?
Speak into the mic.
Okay. Basically, I'm 122 feet behind, this addition will be 122 feet behind my next door neighbor's house. He has not objected to it, so that's as far as that goes.
Thank you. I was out at your site yesterday. Really, you really don't have any other place to provide this addition. You know, kind of sandwiched in on that property, if you will, and you have a fairly large drop-off off on the east side of the property as well. So, and I appreciate you had it all staked out for me so I could kind of visualize where it would end up going. So I do greatly appreciate that. Height, or is your intention, I know it's going to be stepped back, is your intention to keep the height roughly the same height as what the peak is of your current garages?
I'm not used to it.
It's okay.
Basically, it'll probably be a little shorter because I've got a window on the east side in the existing structure. So it might be 5'12", might be 5.5 tall.
Gotcha.
But it's gonna be within that range.
Okay.
That's why I set it back so far so I would miss the window.
Gotcha. Very good. Other questions from the board?
Are you intending on keeping the shed in front of the proposed addition? In front of your house?
I'm sorry.
Are you intending on keeping the shed?
Keep the shed in that location?
Yes.
Do you have a
It's
variance?
it's just set up on piers right now. It is not connected to anything,
No,
no
I
foundation whatsoever.
Do you have a variance for that shed?
I'm sorry.
Did you have a variance for the shed because it's in front of the main structure?
This basically was done 30 years ago.
Pre-existing non-conforming.
I think we had an ordinance 30 years ago. I know we had an ordinance 30 years ago.
You were here 30 years ago.
Yes, I was.
So did I.
How easily is that relocated?
How would you relocate it?
I'm sorry?
How would you relocate that?
I'd have to slide it off of the piers that it's on and drag it around the back of the house, going to the west. I'm sorry, going to the east.
Yes.
Right.
It would be a little impractical because there's I'd have to bring it along over 200 feet.
I would like to have this conform, either by relocating the shed that's in front of the existing house, or have the applicant apply for a variance for that shed to make it comply. My preference is, you know, if they have equipment to build the addition, to utilize that equipment and maybe roll it in the back, if he possibly can. Other option is apply for the variance. Bring the
And
property
there
to
are
conformance.
two sheds
I was
on
gonna say, there's another shed on
Well,
the other side.
I wasn't even gonna get to that one, because that one looks like it's falling apart.
That one over there?
Yeah.
Well, and it's open on the front because it's the firewood storage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
10 feet.
In between here, yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's all sloped. It's hard to move something on the slope. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're talking about the shed right now. There's a slope on the east side of the existing home.
Mhm.
And it wouldn't be very easy to move that, slide that shed.
You would have
So
to
we're
do it-
talking about.
You'd have to do it before the construction started, because you could move it on the west side of the,
Oh,
of the house.
before the, yeah, before, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm looking at it like that, that's built,
Right.
but it is not built. So can you just slide that back like that,
Slide it back to,
behind the house? Before construction?
that's possible. That is the only way I could get it back there.
It would be appreciated. And
Okay.
I would, you know, if we
That'll be
approve
a
this
stipulation.
application,
Do
which
that?
looks
Okay,
like
yeah.
that's the direction we're going, I'd like to make that a condition that comply with the ordinance.
Okay.
Carl agrees that he'll slide that back during construction, prior to construction of the addition.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Nice catch, Don. Any other questions from the board? No? Open up to public?
My name is Brian Bishoping. I live at 671 Willow Lane. I am here representing the property directly to the east. And my only concern is, what if after the structure is completed, the addition is completed, how do you get any equipment to the backyard to maintain a septic system? And other than that, if there's a way to make things happen, then no objections.
Okay. Have somebody else to speak to?
No, I just want to let you know that I am the owner of that parcel that's to the east.
To the east, so the field.
Yeah, and if you don't show the drawing of the,
Can you speak into the mic?
you don't show the property stake up by the road. And if you look down through, the rock wall and the wood storage are on the property line, on the west side of our property. See that posted sign?
Yep.
Okay, right in there is where the GPS survey was done. There's two stakes missing up farther, but
The pins are still at that position, the stakes have rotted out. I have not disturbed any pins.
So,
What's your question, sir? That the survey stakes, or you're indicating the survey stakes
no, I'm
removed,
just
or-
saying, the only one that I can locate right now is the one by the posted sign.
Okay,
So the only issue would be, in the future, after construction, getting equipment to the backyard.
yep.
Okay, that's it.
I'm sorry. Basically, what I would like to say is, it's an access road. To the east of that access road, and there's still 15 feet of roadway going back. To the east of that is a 100-foot easement, because the water pipeline then went through for the water treatment plant. It is not obstructing anything. The pins that are supposedly been removed by me have never been touched. The stakes have rotted out and have fallen down. I'm not gonna replace the stakes, but I did not touch the pins that are directly below it.
When we did a survey for that piece to the east, and we put those stakes in the ground, when we did this, Carl's house, we found those pins and used them, part of the survey. So they're there, but the wooden lath that marks them, you know, that rotted out, but they're still there, and we could always put marker lath beside them so you can find them.
And you've placed capped rebars along the eastern property line, correct?
Right, rebars with my name and cap on it, right.
So, can you tell me where, hold on. Can you tell me where your septic system is? Because I don't see it identified on on the survey. Do you know where it is?
The septic system.
My septic system is in the center of the backyard.
So kind of dead center? So.
Dead center?
But in
Dead
front of
center
the,
of the yard, yes.
in front of the wood line though.
So I'm at least 20 feet either way.
But how far back from the house?
How far back is it? I'd say about to the tank, it's maybe 50 feet. Beyond that, you go about 100 feet, is it, the whole system.
Okay.
Carl's house is 19.36 feet off the property line on that
Yep.
side.
Yep. I see that. And how far off is the stone wall? The stone wall looks like it's roughly on the property line, maybe 2 feet off the property line if I had to guess, but I'm strictly guessing.
It looks like it lines up with the back of the
Stone wall on
shed.
east side?
The stone wall on the east side, correct.
We didn't locate it.
I'd say that's at least 8 or 9 feet back. And like I said, it is not obstructing the roadway going back. Because it's on a slope of the house.
There also appears in front of the wall that protrudes to the east, like where Josh is pointing to right now. I didn't check that out at the time because I didn't think it was pertinent when I went to visit the site, sorry.
Mr. LaRue, did you, in the survey that I have here, it indicates I'm calling it a firewood shed. You did locate that?
We did.
Okay. So again, looking at the photos here, if I, again, perspective changes things obviously, but it looks like the stone wall is roughly in line with the back of that shed, roughly.
That's
Just
what it
looking at
looks-
what we have up on the screen there.
That's what it looks like in the photo,
Yeah.
yep.
Plus or minus, obviously. Okay. How would you propose to get, to service your septic system in the rear of the house with the addition?
We drive back down the driveway, which is on the west side. You run this hose out, so I'm not on anybody's land at that particular point.
Okay.
That's been done dozens of times, so.
Okay, very good. I'm gonna ask a silly question here, Josh. Septic systems are allowed in the front property?
The town actually does not regulate septic systems. It's
Okay.
the county health department.
Okay. So if a new septic system was required and the applicant did not have access or permission from anybody to use their property to get equipment, he could put it in the front yard if he needed to.
That
As
would
long as it met
certainly be an
any and all
option.
county
Yeah,
requirements for
absolutely.
setbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and perks.
Yep, okay.
Those honeysuckers suck a long way. Real long way.
That was my job for 20 years, so
Okay?
200 feet of hose is what I used to carry, so, yeah.
It's a lot of fun cleaning.
No, no.
No, I know that.
True.
That, another option, yeah, thank you. Another option would be potentially putting a garage door on the back of the addition as well, to be able to do a drive-through if you had to. Is that something you'd be open to?
Put a garage door on the back of your addition.
You want a garage door?
Yeah, you can put a garage door in the
Oh,
back.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like a 14 feet,
yeah,
yes.
you could do that.
Okay,
So we can drive through, right?
okay.
Well, the other thing too is, I wouldn't expect that shed to outlast the septic system.
No.
No, no. I'm assuming that shed won't last that long.
We're speaking of the wooden one, correct? The wood
Yes.
shed.
Yeah,
Wood- the
that's
red
what, okay,
one?
that's what, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The wood storage.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Is the party that's opposing next door, is that what the concern is, just the septic, or is there some other issues?
I'm just concerned about that laneway is our farm laneway.
Mike?
That lane belongs on the farm, yes. Monroe County Water got an easement to put in the water line 5, 10, 6 years ago, whatever it was. Now, we can work the farm, but that is the lane for the farm. It's not for everyone to use. My brother and I own the farm together now. So we just
Who else
don't,
would use that lane other than
a
the
lot of
applicant?
people like to drive back.
To do what?
Horse around.
Yeah, that's.
They go through my
Kids go
backyard as
through
well. I'm down the
You know,
way a
I
little
just want to
bit.
make it clear that, you know, that laneway
Is
is
private
part of the
property.
farm.
Okay.
That's all.
Sir, I don't know that we got your name and your address for the record,
My address is 19 Pierce Street in the village,
and your name.
but I am, the one you sent the card to at 1780 Woodard Road is where the farm is located.
Okay.
Just so, again, as I'm not clear on this, how does the garage going up or down impact the frequency of other people other than the applicant use the roadway?
It's private property.
No,
We have it
understand.
posted.
Relevant to the garage approval, how does that impact?
No,
that
I
it's gonna
just
be
wanna
so
make
close to the
sure-
Property line on the one side, he wants to make sure that it is known that there won't be any access on the.
No, I understand that, but it's just the applicant.
Yeah.
But this gentleman seems to be concerned about the rest of the public. And I just don't know how, whether the garage is on the other side of the house. or
No,
not.
no, I'm not worried about that.
Okay, I mean, I guess I just don't understand it, all right.
Your concern is access and the applicant using that
That's
that
right.
Trespassing on
space.
your land to access the rear of
He's
his
worried about the
property.
rest
That's
of
right.
the public, doesn't,
Okay.
it's not relevant.
It's not,
I think,
it's not the rest of the public.
Yep.
It's if a structure goes there and blocks that path, another path is potentially gonna be utilized.
understood.
That's all.
Yep.
There is no other
But how many
path.
times could somebody have a septic issue?
Do you have a septic system?
I grew up on one, yes.
Okay.
enough.
Because,
So did
I mean, there are lots
I
of
was there all
companies
my
that
life.
service septic systems that are very busy. So,
Okay,
that's all. That was the concern.
Nope, I appreciate
you.
that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we've made the point that basically the backside of the wood storage, on the east side of the wood storage is private property and not an access lane. And the applicant understands that, correct?
We acknowledge that.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Corinne, Chris, Don, does somebody want to go through the findings? Oh, we didn't do seeker, thank you. Appreciate that.
I don't know why.
I'd like to make a motion for a type 2 action under seeker pursuant to NYCRR section 617.5 of the Environmental Code.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll let someone else
Don,
run through
you want to take it?
findings.
The application in front of the board is asking to build a garage addition, which is not uncommon, especially within this area. They're looking to locate that on the east side, I'm sorry, the west side of the existing garage. Thank you. I'm trying to
They're fine.
locate.
There'll be no
septic
detriment created to
The area?
nearby properties. The owner has acknowledged that the parcel to the east, 1 foot, 1.7 feet off the rear of their wood shed, is private property and not an access road to the rear of their house. The neighbor to the west has not provided any objections, so there will be no detriment created to nearby properties. The benefit really is not achievable by any method. The current garage is on the west side of the property. This is adding an additional bay on the west side of the property. The east side, there is a elevation change as well as further away from the garage, further away from the existing garage. so really not feasible. The request is not substantial. It is adding to the existing house. House is already about 120 feet behind the closest residential neighbor. There is no adverse physical or environmental impacts to the site or the neighborhood being set so far back. And the plans that were submitted are going to mimic the current house as currently submitted. Difficulty, where the house is located, the difficulty is not really self-created. It is to be able to make the addition, they would have to go into the side setback. This is not an undesirable change, being set so far back, and the style of the addition, and the request is not significant. I'd like to make, oops, sorry.
For the findings, you want to add Don's,
Oh, the shed.
the shed? Bring it to legal?
Well, yeah,
Well, that's
that wasn't the
a-
motion, that was just the
Okay.
findings, yep, so
Oh.
I was gonna do the motion. I'd like to make a motion for an area variance to allow a side setback, no less than, where was it?
4.6?
6.5 feet, I believe, 6.5 feet. Off the west property line. Associated with the construction of a 420 square foot garage addition to the existing single-family dwelling on a 2-acre parcel having SBL 050.02-1-28 located in a LL large lot, single-family residential district. There is an existing shed in the front of the residence that will need to be moved to the rear of the residence. And a garage door both on the front and rear of the garage addition will be required for access to the rear of the property. I think I covered everything. Can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Short,
Aye.
Mr. Santola,
Aye.
Mrs. Bola,
Aye.
Mr. Hauser,
Aye.
Mr. Wagner.
Aye.
You have your variance for your garage addition. You have 1 year of meaningful construction, and you do have to get building permit and approval. So,
Thank you very much.
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
We do need to table the Bay Road, 712 Bay Road,
Yep.
to the September 10th meeting. And then, Josh, can you possibly contact them and,
Yes, we will follow up with them.
thank you.
Typos in the minutes. I'll go over with you when we're done.
Which one?
Just some things that I've said.
Oh, from,
June 7th or whatever.
It's June 9th.
The one that you just said.
Oh, the most recent one's not the July.
It was July.
The July 9th.
I thought it said, what was the one that I just showed you? Which one?
that was June.
That's what I said.
Okay,
This is
then
July.
don't sign it, then maybe you can just.
It just, it's,
Oh, okay.
it's not.
Okay.
I have to make a motion
Yeah,
to
I'm just gonna give it to her right now.
push the Bay Road Port of Porsche located at 712 till next month.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, you do.
Give them to her.
Aye.
Chris seconded it.
Okay.
And everybody eyed on, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
There you go. Okay.
Okay. All right, and then we will hold the minutes
Till next
till
month?
next time.
Okay.
And the next meeting is September 10th.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, thank you, everybody. This concludes our meeting.
All the applications are